Hey folks, Kevin here. Well, it was January 7th, 2024, and I'm getting ready to get into Optimus Maximus here, the Kubota Grand L6060, to do our first snow blowing of the season here in 2024. This is an unusual year for us. The last several years, the winters have become much wilder. We do have severe storms at times, but nothing like we used to have. As I'm getting in the tractor, I could see that it's going to require a regen, which is fine because I'm going to have the RPMs up. I'm adjusting the chute right now to deflect the snow in the correct direction. And so what I thought I'd do is start out, and so this video is going to be some video footage of me actually using this tractor with the snowblower, and I'm going to talk about this piece of equipment, the undercarriage, the 4-point quick hitch attachment that attaches to the snowblower on this Grand L6060. A couple of things I'll say. One thing I'll say right off the bat, this thing is a beast. It is absolutely amazing. It's the best tractor I've ever owned. And one of the things I would say is that the ground is not frozen solid yet. Thea walked out in the morning and let me know, geez, I think there's about 6 inches of very wet, heavy snow. And it's really slick underneath as well, somewhat slushy as well. So not our typical lighter or lake effect snow that we often get. So where are we located? So we're located in Oswego, New York, in New York State, not about 8 miles from Lake Ontario. So during the winter months, we do get the lake effect snow, like you hear about Buffalo or Syracuse. Syracuse is south of us. We get more snow than Syracuse gets. And certainly to the east of Lake Ontario, in the Adirondacks, they really do get belted with snow as well. And we've been on this property. I started here in 1975, and later on you'll see when I get up to the road, you'll see a hydrant there that I have to turn around, and I do some snow blowing along the edge of the road. You'll see that's the location where the mobile home was set back in 1976, and I've got a whole bunch of videos talking a little bit about our history in the past. I'm adjusting our air vents now so that they deflect against the windshields because I had cool air during the summertime hitting me. So it's got a beautiful cab, probably the best cab I've ever been in for a piece of heavy equipment. So this thing is absolutely fantastic. And this is categorized as a compact tractor, but it is 62 horsepower and really, really powerful. It can really blow that snow quite a ways. I thought I'd mention, when we first started here, we started off with 1 acre of land at the very top of the property up close to the road. And each year we've gradually been building and developing the property. And as time went on, once we started building these buildings that you see down here where I'm snow blowing right now, it became evident that I needed to get some big equipment other than me shoveling all the time. So the first tractor I got was a Massey Harris before Massey Ferguson, and that was a row crop front end that was good for brush hogging and for for pulling logs around as well. But that was about it. Then around 1980, I purchased a David Brown or Case 995, a pretty good size. I think it was 92 horsepower, 2-wheel drive tractor with a large loader on the front end. I just recently sold that about 2.5-3 years ago, and that was an absolutely fantastic tractor. And back then, in the 80s and 90s, and things started tapering off some in the 90s, but we used to get really significant snow each winter, enough where you'd want to wear snowshoes to get around. And it wouldn't be uncommon. It would be relatively rare that we get 4 feet in one dumping. In other words, over a 48-hour period, getting 4 feet of snow. But we did have a few of those back in the 80s and 90s, or 3 to 4 foot. Very common to get 16, 18 inches in a 24-hour period. So I'd be out there with that front end loader working for hours and hours, and I'd build these massive mountains that I drive up on to dump the snow. And so I knew that I wanted to get a snowblower, but I really didn't, because of some back issues and neck issues. Turning around and snow blowing backwards really wasn't an issue. Was an issue for me, so I did not want to do that. So I always wanted a front-mounted snowblower. And in 2003, it became evident that I needed to get the jobs done much more quickly. So I ended up breaking down and bought another tractor, which was a Mahindra. I think that was a 3510. With a Lorenz front mount snowblower and an not the manufacturer's cab, because they didn't have manufacturer's cab, but I had a cab put on it when I first bought it. And that was a huge upgrade in our lives, where I could be in a cab. It was heated, nothing like this cab, this Kubota manufactured cab, but it was a cab, and it was a huge upgrade from being out in the snow and being blinded all the time. Heating system wasn't as good, the ventilation wasn't as good, the cleaning of the windows wasn't as good, and we live in a very high wind zone. And today when I'm snowblowing, as you see, the wind is almost dead calm here, so it isn't blowing all over the place like blowing back on the cab. And I've got the wipers going like crazy, that sort of thing. So that Mahindra tractor was a great tractor and all, but I really wanted to upgrade, get something that's going to last me years. And I had been searching for Kubotas for quite a while, but dealerships around us, and you may be able to see a lot of dirt shooting up from the chute here because the ground is still so soft. But I lost my train of thought there for a moment. Excuse me. So investing in a tractor was a big challenging situation for me to get a Kubota. They have a tremendous reputation. I've seen them many times. I've known people who have had them for years, and it worked out really well. But all I found was really huge price gouging and lack of support from talking to people who bought the Kubotas around us, and I wasn't at all impressed with the dealerships around us. But my brother had bought a Grand L4060. This is a Grand L6060, and he told me about Blazy's in Palmyra, New York. So we took a ride out there, and I ordered this. And I do have a video going over the actual breakdown of designing and building this particular tractor online. So you have what is the manufacturer's suggested retail price, so you can compare that with the deal that you can get from a dealership. So I do recommend looking at that. I also built my Kubota B2601. I have a video of that being built online. And the same thing with our with the RTV. The RTV, it is a 1100 X1100C, I believe is what it is. That's Suki Thea's RTV. I use Pepe most of the time. So what are some things about this tractor? So it's got a hydrostatic transmission. And this hydrostatic transmission has 3 ranges: low, medium, and high, and of course it has neutral as well. And in this low, medium, and high range, I think is really important for operating a piece of equipment like this. Although when we get heavy snowfalls, I will be in low range, but right now I'm in medium range. Now this video is sped up 1.8 times, so it's not quite 2x speed. It's 1.8x speed, just so that it wasn't terribly long while I got a chance to talk about this. So there's also on just below my on the dash, there's also a shifter that you can rapidly shift while in motion, switch between high range and low range. So right now I'm in the second gear, so you have low, medium, and high. So I'm in mid-range on the transmission, which you have to stop the vehicle between shifting between those three gear selections. However, with the hydrostatic shuttle there, I can switch between high and low in that medium range on the fly without stopping or slowing things down, which is really a fantastic asset. And I won't talk about all the other. There's cruise control on it. There's a switches for you can set it for having as you go into a large pile of let's say gravel, you can have the tractor remain going slow, so you're not breaking breaking traction, while you're revving up the RPMs to use the hydraulics to lift at the same time. You have the ability to use a button on your hydraulic arm to be able to increase the RPMs as well. And there's just this thing is the most deluxe tractor that I can imagine at this point in time. It's just absolutely amazing. It's got 62 horsepower. I did opt for the mid-mount PTO shaft, so it's got a 540 revolution RPMs for the PTO, and at midpoint on the tractor there is another PTO shaft which allows us to hook up the two components. Now, I ended up purchasing an automatic 4-point hitch, and that's the L4554A. That's L4554A automatic 4-point hitch. This allows me to quickly from inside the cab to dismount the snowblower and go into a snowplow. Hook, never getting out of the cab. It'll hook up the hydraulics, the electronics, and the drive shaft, all from within the cab, which was very appealing to me. So that's what this automatic 4-point hitch is. It's quite expensive, and if you do review the building of this machine online, you can see just how much it costs. It's certainly well worth it for me. And hooking up that hitch, I did create a video. I've created a couple of videos. I'll try to remember to put a link to the one where I attach to this to the snowblower and the automatic 4-point hitch below. Now the snowblower that's on this is a 74-inch. It's an L4479. That's L4479. And I don't get any kickbacks for anything that you end up deciding to purchase. I just want to provide you with as much information about this as well. But I will say that Blazy's in Palmyra, New York, if you're anywhere near this location, a great place. Just tell Junior I sent you, just so maybe he'll give me a better deal on the next piece of equipment that I buy. So anyways, but they've been fantastic. So this snowblower has no trouble putting the snow where I want to put it. It's extremely powerful. It's super easy to attach and detach. So when I dismount the front end loader, and that's 1055. I believe that's the L1055 is the size of the loader that goes on this tractor. I disconnect that, then go over and hook on to the automatic 4-point hitch, which I leave attached to the snowblower right now. So during the summertime, this is over in our outdoor kitchen sitting there, and I just rehook up to the front end loader on it. About the cab. This cab is pretty darn, it's the quietest cab I've ever been in. And you may notice the rear view mirrors. I can really see things extremely well with the rear view mirrors. You'll see when I'm backing up in this part of the video, there's a statue on a column. Now I've got stuff all over the place, and you can see it in the right-hand rear view mirror as I'm backing up there. I can see things so well. So I did opt for the rear windshield wiper, automatic windshield wiper, which is really super handy. The rear defrost, I opted for that as well. That works extremely well. Added additional lights. Now I heard some noise here, and you see me jumping out of the tractor, and I'm not sure why, but when the snowblower is lifted real high off the ground, it does make a little bit more noise, like the shield on the PTO is potentially rubbing against something. So I just have to remember not to lift the snowblower quite as high, and the noise just completely disappears. So where was I? So this cab, it is super comfortable. The heating and air conditioning system in this works extremely well. The vents are well placed so that we can cool ourselves during the winter, during the hot summer months. Heat the cab and keep the windows clear, even when the snow is blowing back on you, when it's when the winds are real high. So that works extremely well as well. I do have, I'm thinking of this now. I do have the ability, and I can't think of it now. It's the term. This is terrible. I have the hydraulic control for hooking up a grapple on the front of this, or any other implement that you want to hook up. And it does have the skid steer type quick hitch for the front end loader as well. So I could put any different bucket on it, the forks on it, and I do have forks for this as well, which really works out extremely well. And that's fantastic. I just thought about that. The space in the cab. I'm not a little guy, and I have plenty of room inside of this cab. When I did order this, I got the standard seat with it, and I'm probably fine with the standard seat. But my property now, snow blowing is no big deal, because this is not lumpy, bumpy property that I'm on right now doing this snow blowing. It's rather smooth. It's not all ruddy and tree stump holes and all where you're getting slammed from side to side inside the cab. And I would say with this standard seat in here, it's not the air conditioned, the air buffered seat. I can't think of the proper term for it, but it's more cushioning when you're driving. And if you're going to be spending all day in a piece of equipment like that, I probably would opt up for it. But I think it was like close to $1,000 more for that seat. So I'd rather, instead of spending extra money on a seat suspension, I wanted to get the other luxury items that allow me to work so well and stay comfortable with this and have the power that this piece of equipment has. So the dash on this is nice and easy to see. It's complex as far as the amount of settings that you can set this piece of equipment up to do things. I do have a wood chipper that I haven't used yet that mounts on the back of this, and so I'm pretty excited about getting that out. I've just been too busy the last couple of years with this. We use it, what else was I about to say with this? We use it for moving. You can see I got a lot of dirt in there just then. So this thing cuts right through hard ice, shoots the ice right out. I shoot lots of rocks out. Fortunately, I didn't shear a pin this time, but if you get a good size branch that doesn't get all chopped up, or a big rock in there, which on our property I do have, and that does happen from time to time. Or if you got a solid chunk of frozen, soil, that can shear a pin as well. So this has worked flawlessly for me. Maintenance is a breeze on this piece of equipment. When you're draining the oil, it does split because of the drive shaft going down the center. Same thing with a B2601. So we also have the Kubota B2601, and so there's two drain plugs for the draining the oil on them. Really super nice, easy to maintain, easy to work with, super comfortable piece of equipment to have and drive. I have had people reach out and ask, geez, does this bog down? And have I bogged this down? Well, one time I did bog this down. So I took this tractor during the summertime. I took my 12-foot dump trailer and I took it out on the road. Now we have some pretty good sized hills right around here. We're at the top of the hills around here. This property ends up being. But when I went over to the next road where our other property is, I took the 12-foot dump trailer and I loaded that puppy right down. I mean, it was more filled than you'd want to be bringing with your half-ton pickup truck, which I've hauled lots of manure and wood chips, those sorts of supplies, with the dump trailer behind my Avalanche 2003 1500 Avalanche, which handled it really well. But with this tractor, when I was, after having the dump trailer completely loaded and going uphill, I had it in high range and high gear and high range, and I could hear the engine having difficulty going further. And here's one of the things about hydrostatic transmission. The more that you depress the acceleration pedal, the fuel pedal, the gas pedal, whatever you want to call it, and this is a diesel tractor, the more that opens the orifice for hydraulic fluid to go through. And whatever else you're doing, there's only, the higher the RPMs are, whatever the RPMs are set at on the engine, there's only so much hydraulic fluid that can get pushed through it, and so you can bog it down. So the thing to do is not to press the accelerator, keep the RPMs up high if you're going to stay in high gear, or drop it down into mid-range gear and maintain the same the lower acceleration with the foot pedal. So you go a little bit slower, but because of the way that the hydrostatic transmissions work, you're forcing the engine to work harder to push more hydraulic fluid to drive the drive units, the tractor forward, working against all that weight. So you can bog down a big tractor like this if you don't realize what gear range you need to be in. The shuttle, the hydrostatic shuttle for high speed or low speed with pushing that hydraulic fluid. I hope I'm explaining this well enough so that it makes sense. So, and I'm up by our main road right here right now, snow blowing around our pillars at the top of the property. Those are all chestnut trees in the tree tubes, and two bellows as well, and blue spruces back there in the background. So I go down a ways. You can see a lot of dirt and rocks getting kicked up here as I'm going along the edge of the road. The reason that I do this is when the snowplow comes by, it's going to deposit it and bank it right up along in there. And that pile that you see in front of the blower there, that's off the side of the road where the wing can knock that back. So I go back and make a couple of passes like this, and just to open up the along the roadway, give the snowplow a place to deposit the snow as he's driving down, so it doesn't block in the driveway as soon as the plow goes by, especially when it gets all slushy and all. So yeah, so up here I said dig in a little more of that dirt. So quite an amazing snowblower, and the power on this tractor I think is great. You just have to be mindful, be aware of the limitations of or the settings of the hydrostatic transmission when you're trying to do work. If you're bogging it down, then you don't have your settings correct. You're either depressing the accelerator too hard. It's now there is a setting so that you can have this be like a payloader or a car, where the more that you depress the foot pedal, the hydrostatic pedal, the faster that the engine RPMs go. And that's one setting that you can set on your dash panels there. You could set this so that it operates like a payloader or like a car. So the more that you depress the accelerator, the higher the RPMs go. Most of the time I'm setting my RPMs and depressing the accelerator without increasing the RPMs and in the need to go a little bit faster. So that's another setting that's available with this hydrostatic transmission. What else? The instrument panel is pretty good. It shows you the hour meter on it, how many hours you've got on it for a trip, or how many hours you've got on it for the whole time that you're using it. It's got a clock on there. It has the travel speed as well. It has an indicator of what primary gear you're in and whether you're in high, like a rabbit, or turtle, going slow with the hydrostatic on-the-fly system. A quick fuel gauge as well. It's easy to get to the multi-function control on the dash. It's just by the lights settings, so you can turn on and off your lights. Now I have extra lights that I ordered with this unit, so that's a separate switch. But your cruise control, the different hydrostatic types that you got, you can have a response control, a throttle up mode. Just looking at a couple of notes I've got here. It will on the display show you if your PTO is engaged as well, so that's real handy. Let me see, I think it gives you an indication. You can set it so you can see, your oil, when you need to do an oil change as well. And I really haven't played with that stuff, but those things are there as well. Let me see, do I have any notes here that I wanted to go over? Okay, so I did see here, so with the travel speeds, so you have, well, I'm not sure about that. I'm not going to talk about it since I'm not certain. Yeah, so it is the LA 1055 front end loader, and that's done in kilograms, so you just multiply the 10055 by 2.2 to get how many pounds that it lifts at the pin. So when manufacturers are talking about the lift capacity, they're talking about the pin where it attaches to the base of the bucket. But this thing can comfortably lift 2,000 pounds. The other thing is making sure when you're doing any work with a front end loader, or you're working like I'm working, I do have a ballast on the back of the tractor. It's just a metal box that hooks to my quick hitch on the 3-point hitch on the back of the tractor. That's filled with sand. I do have a couple tubes in it to carry around extra tools as well. Having a quick attach or a quick hitch attachment on the rear of the unit, I think, is really important. what else? So this the model number on this tractor is an L6060 HSTC, four-wheel drive hydrostatic tractor cab, and the loader is a LA 1055, and front loader. Let's see, yeah, 74-inch snowblower, and the four-way 4-point hitch. And with everything all total with this unit, and I didn't describe all of the things that I got with it, and you can go to the build video that I made, ended up being 65, or I ended up getting extra stuff. So I got other pieces. I can't remember what it was that I got at this point, but I've got $65,220. Yes, it's a huge investment. I took advantage of the 0% financing. Kubota often has that 0% financing. They might have it going on all the time. I'm not certain. So this is the third winter that I'm doing snow blowing with this. Piece of cake. This is real heavy, wet snow on soft ground that hasn't been frozen yet, so I'm throwing a lot of dirt up in the air. Heading back now, going to head out back and do a couple of passes out. Well, first I'm going to clean out the area where I can where I can clean out in front of one of the overhead doors for the barn where the B2601 is. Mini Me. You know, you do have to get used to, if you've got lots of little rolls, hills and valleys on your property, especially if you got soft ground. And the ground isn't frozen solid. Now, when the ground is frozen solid, you can put the front end loader or the blower in float mode and just go right over it. And if you're doing paved roads and all, good gravel driveways, you can just put it in float. I have to, with this, because I have such soft ground, and I have to keep adjusting the height of the front end loader, and I have pitches where I'm going on angles as well, so everything is a nice level ground that I'm driving on. The other thing I would say is investing in the hydraulic controls for the front chute. That I think is so important, including the height adjustment that you're going to shoot the material out of the snowblower itself. Being able to direct the snow so that you can put the snow where you want it, especially if you're in a high wind zone like we are. Now, right now the wind is dead calm, and you can see here we are. We're heading out by the first food forest in this location out here, and you can see the snow is just completely stuck to everything. It's about 14 hours of snowing that got this. Now, if you're familiar with my videos, you know this is all muddy where I'm going over now. So I'm purposely keeping the snowblower a couple of inches off of the base so that some of this can freeze right down in here. And since I had the gazebo on the left-hand side, I turned the chute to the right-hand side, and I'll switch back and forth so I deposit the snow just where I'm going to want to have it here. So I don't want to throw any snow up here on the solar panels, so I kick it this way. Now I don't want to throw any into the sugar shack, so now I'm going to shoot it over here, and so on and so forth. So don't mind putting it over here in pond 6, and pond 7's up ahead of us here before too long. The compost or leaf mold pile is coming up. It's on our left. The first pile there is actually the sand pile from the canal system that I dug up in 2022. And pond 7's right up to our right side, right up over here. And I'm just clearing enough of an area back here to because I think things are going to be thawing some. But I want to keep, when things thaw, only a small amount of snow on the driveway, and hoping that it's going to freeze right up. See some of the solar panels, the snow is slid off of some of them thus far. And when you have items, you know, whether it's buildings or vehicles or neighbors or whatever it is, being able to direct the chute, both the height, the altitude that you're going to send that snow up to, or if you just want to dump it right over the bank, you know, tipping down the chute so it doesn't shoot way up in the air. You know, here I pretty much want to spread it out and shoot it quite a ways away, and this is really beneficial because we live in a high wind zone. If I have banks on either side of the driveway, when we get high winds, I get drifts coming in. So by being able to throw it as far as I can, I'm just blasting that apple tree there. And now I'm going to want to avoid hitting the gazebo here, so I'll switch it around. Really handy to be able to do that from inside the cab and all. And again, I'm trying to avoid keeping that snowblower up off the ground so that I'm not blasting different buildings. So hopefully it's making sense why I wanted to get this particular tractor with this particular snowblower with a nice cab. So although this video ends up being like 43 minutes long, it really was like an hour and 20 minutes. It was almost an hour and 15 minutes. I can't remember the duration of the video or the project that I was doing. Now, if I were to use just the old snowblower that I had with the Mahindra tractor, this would have been about 2.5 hours worth of work with that tractor. And again, this is 1.8 times normal speed that you're seeing this. So I'm actually not moving quite as fast, but I am zipping right along. When I look at other people with their snowblowers now, they aren't going nearly as quickly as I'm able to go with this piece of equipment. But this would, with the Mahindra, with the Lorenz blower, and the Lorenz blower is a fantastic snowblower. It's got the double augers up front there that really chop everything up beautifully. Great snowblower to have as a snowblower for whatever tractor you do use. If I were to move this much snow with my tractor with the front end loader the way I used to do it, it would be between 8 and 10 hours, maybe even 12 hours with the amount of weight that this blower has. This and I do have it. I have the RPMs up over 2,000 RPMs right now, probably maybe 2,200 RPMs, and it shoots it so well. It shoots it so far that I seldom, even though I'm depositing out in front of me, so there's 70 foot the greenhouse, another 24 foot of this building here. And then another 25 feet. So you can see just how far I'm throwing this, and I'm only, it's shooting it almost all the way. It's shooting it at least 60 feet before the first piece is hit, and it's probably 75 feet before I get into anything that I'm really already moved. So right now I'm hitting heavier stuff right here. But it pushes right through it. I just let off on the throttle pedal a little bit when I'm doing this, and it does an amazing job. And again, that's the work area. I just did a tour of the work area and coop, which is the building to the right hand side there. Throwing the snow over near where the swale is now. Now slow down, let the snow disappear so I don't throw any more rocks out there. Boom. Now I can go ahead and go forward again. And of course, no sooner did I put the tractor away than the snow shot off the roof of the work area there. Just how things work, I guess. So, yeah, sometimes I will actually clear all the way out, going past the honey hut, and going out and snowblow between the solar panels. I didn't see a need to do it at this time. So there's a lot of property that I'm cleaning with this. So it makes sense for me, for the time and energy that I'm putting forth. This really works extremely well. So now I'm going around the back of the workshop here. I want to get up by the fueling station, make sure that area is all clean for each piece of equipment, be able to get the other equipment out of here without packing my tracks or equipment in more snow. And going by the central garden plot right here. And again, I'm just shooting the snow over towards one of the ponds, canal systems here. And I don't want to put any snow in the driveway, so I deviate and push the snow over here as well. There's the herb garden there in front of us. I'm just maneuvering around. Big bumps here as I go up over the snow. And you may not be able to feel it now. Throw it back over the canal system and back over to the ponds over there. And then I see, geez, I'm really digging into a lot of dirt. You may be able to notice how much brown there is there. So a lot of the soil that came off the tracks of the excavator and the track loader and all are all out here as well. So shooting this into the locations that I don't mind having some extra soil in. So that's one of the things I'm doing now. And putting the snow where we want it, basically. That's the goal. Move the snow from where you don't want it, put it into a location that you don't mind it going, and when you're getting the dirt, know that there's spots that you want to put the fill, so I dump the snow right over there. You can see some of the discoloration from the soil over the side. Again, these rear view mirrors, I bought a backup camera for this, thinking because I hate twisting my body because of the spinal injuries I've had in the past. My neck and my range of motion of my torso and my neck are decreased due to surgeries I've had. So I really thought that I'd have to have a backup camera like I have for both the excavator and the track loader. But I haven't installed it because these mirrors are absolutely fantastic. You can't see the way that the camera is mounted on my chest. You can't actually see just where it is. But this unit does so well. I'm going to take one last pass right up here in front of the work area here. Throw some of it in front of me. Then I'll turn it and put it over where I really want it. And this worked out pretty well. So then I go through and I clean out I get my shovel and I clean out all the dirt that's jam-packed in around the drive chain and the impellers in there. Clean all of that out. Clean off a little bit of snow. Piece of cake. This thing runs fantastic, and would I buy it again in a heartbeat? So thanks so much for watching. Really appreciate it, and have a super fantastic and safe day. Bye-bye now.